that I went to a tarot class, there was this amazing man who was just, he had a glow about him because he was just so full of golden juice. He was a triple Capricorn, very practical, really able to explain in down-to-earth terms what this magic was about. And at the same time, like funny and deep. And I was taking notes, and we were all like transcribing and like ta-da-ta-da. And that's how the book, The Spoken Kabbalah, came to be for sale inside. It's, I transcribed 10 sessions of each of the 22 keys. And then I edited them down to put them all in order because he used to just talk all over the place. And people would ask questions. And by the way, anybody wants to ask a question, feel free anytime. So the first night I came, this very card, because I inherited these cards from Jason Waterhead. The first thing I heard him go is, "This is Isis." And I had been ordained in a New Age church, not to anybody in particular. I was with a group of people in Berkeley. We had the Sunrise Church of the Golden Age. We made the church and we got ourselves ordained. I was ordained in 1977. And she came to me, much to my surprise and delight. So I hadn't really named her Isis, but I recognized her, So it's been a long love affair for me with her, and she's really helped me a lot, and I love to share it with the world. So my new book, High Magic, How to Turn Your Lead into Gold, is dedicated to Isis and says a lot about, it's a kind of a real feminine viewpoint of this Kabbalistic study. All my teachers were male. As far as this goes, Paul Foster Case was the teacher of Jason Waterhead. They were friends. So these cards were painted in 1950 originally, and I redid them in the 80s. And I just recently touched up the gold to make them sparkle for you guys. So then, a little later on, I got involved with something called the Fellowship of Isis, which is something you can go online and just join if you want. It's got members in, 40 countries or something like that. It was started by this little old Aries lady. She's 95. Her name's Olivia Robinson. Lady Olivia Robinson, the Honorable Lady Olivia Robinson. She lives in a castle in Enniscorthy, Ireland. And she comes over to Isis Oasis, up the road a bit, for every October, second weekend in October, to the Convocation of Isis. And so I fell in love with her because she's a walking embodiment, and she has a prayer that I'm going to begin the session with. And this lovely lady gets set down. It's very short, and very sweet. This is kind of the essence of Isis. So let's just feel her light coming down. She's always sending light, which is love. She loves and cares for absolutely everyone and everything. Every particle is her essence. Holy Goddess Isis, Mother of all beings, come to our hearts. Grant us thy children, love and joy, wisdom and abundance. We offer thee our loving care for all who are born of thee. So be it. The feminine has been, as we understand now, so, I don't even know the words for it, put down. And she's really, really rising up now. Isis is making a big comeback. We think of her, that word Isis, we think of her as the Egyptian winged goddess a lot. But Isis, in Egypt her name is Auset. Isis is a Greek word, and her worshippers rivaled Christianity in the early days. And so they had to all get killed off so that there won't be any more worship of Isis. But of course, she didn't go away. She's just waiting through time, which is now. Very exciting. So her, the Lady Lorien, who runs Isis Oasis, she wrote a little song called "Isis Is What Is," and that's the basic thing I wanted to say about her. Is really she is all that is. She is the substance of everything. In other words, in modern terms, she's like the quantum field. She's surrounding every little thing. She's every little particle. Everything is made from her. She is the divine feminine, the mother, gives birth to everything. The alchemists talked about the first matter, and it was this mysterious thing. What was the first matter? And if you see it, it sparkles. Well, if you see it, she does sparkle. Because she's light. Everything's made of light. This is something you can't really describe too awfully well with the left brain. She really kind of rules the right brain. You know, she's got a partner. We know who that is. So he's Mr. Left Brain, she's Ms. Right Brain, and of course, over them both we would have the Fool, the Unity, and then these three would correspond to the top of the tree of life. She's over here in Bina, Divine Mother. The Magician is this great, powerful figure who, you know, he focuses his attention and he brings energy down through and into whatever he's thinking about. And that's why the power of attention is so strong. What we think about, we're actually creating. Because our magical magician is always, you know, and if we really want to create something, we have to really focus on it. Otherwise, we just get, you know, whatever life is cooking up today, you know, basic menu, which we might or might not like. So it's very important to focus and tune in. That's the first act in the tarot as the magician is plugging into source, which is the Fool. So away we go with, then she says, oh, I can feel what you, I can see it. Yes, I can create that. You know, say you want a house. Well, what kind of house, you know? And you can get very, very specific with her. So she's, all this water is flowing from her, all this potential, all this possibility, everything. It's like the great ocean, but it's an ocean of consciousness. They call it subconsciousness, which is such a simple little word, you know, but if you think about really, it's not that it's beneath anything, it's just like that it's beneath our conscious awareness. Jason used to call it the super subconscious. It's so powerful and so almighty and so everywhere, ubiquitous. And it's love. It's like the magician would be more the light factor and she would be more the love factor, but really they're the same thing. You know, they go back and forth in this figure eight across that top of the tree of life there. So all of the females in the tarot are aspects of this queen of magic. So the next female figure that we have, the next guise of Isis, is of course number 3. She was number 2, and now we have number 3, which is 1 and 2, the magician and the high priestess get together, and we have a pregnant empress. And then, so this is the other form. You know, in alchemy they have the dark and the light mother. And apparently when Isis incarnated on Earth, she incarnated with her sister, Nephthys. So there was an actual dark and light mother. The high priestess would actually stand more for Nephthys. So in the tarot, she's actually called the dark mother, and this is called the bright mother. And the bright mother is, you know, abundant, Mother Nature, just like whatever you can dream of. This is where it actually comes into form. This is where it's all in potential, and then this is where it's all really happening.
Excuse me.
Yes.
You just used the word form, so would you perhaps say that the High Priestess is substance and the Empress is form?
Yeah, subtle substance and firmer substance. Physical. Yeah.
Okay.
See, they're the same being, but it's like every woman has ovaries and potential to have babies. But then something's got to happen, and that's the magician who happens in between those two to create the birth giving. So the heart is her shield. This is Venus. The High Priestess is the moon, obviously, with that moon crown in astrology, and her color's blue and her color's green. And of course, green is blue with yellow added, which is the magician added to the priestess. This red triangle, yes, my dear.
I love the mythology of Isis and Osiris and Nephthys and Set. So I'm assuming that the magician would be Osiris then.
Yes, that's good. Yes,
who would Set be? Would that be the devil?
Oh yes, of course. Because it got to have him. He makes it interesting. So she has the wheat field, the waterfall, everything in nature. She rules over the animals. And of course, Venus is the goddess of love and beauty and peace and art. She rules the sign of Taurus, which is bodies, very physical, but also Libra, an air sign, which is about relationship. She's a very mighty goddess and really the favorite, of all the goddesses that people have worshipped the most. I would think the goddess of love would probably come out on top. I betcha. It's a lot of people's favorite tarot card. If it's, other than either that, I like the High Priestess. And these wonderful images, they're not like women you'd be jealous of. They'd be women you'd want to emulate and really be friends with. Hey, let me kiss your feet. That's how I feel about her. So now her name is Eve. And we have the magician who's turned into the... Now I'm not making this up. This is a teaching. The magician is all the men and the High Priestess is all the women. Then there's the androgynous beings, which would be the Fool and the angels. Because essentially we are androgynous. It's very important to recognize that and try to relate to that, because as we're moving into a new age, into a higher vibration, there's not so much separation. Me Tarzan, me Jane. It's way more each person being unified within themselves. So we don't feel like we need one of the other sex or something like that. This is quite popular with the younger set. I have grandchildren in their 20s. And they're literally in a different place than I was when I was in my 20s. Got married at 19, actually. But it didn't last. I fell in love with the tarot instead. So she's got this wonderful serpent and these apples, and that's, this is one of the great things about the tarot is that it doesn't leave anything out. I love to show this picture to recovering Catholics because, everybody's being blessed by the angel. Nobody's bad here, Nobody's being thrown out. There's no flaming sword, none of that, This is the real Garden of Eden, yes.
Some decks show like the dark woman and the light woman.
Yes. This is straight Kabbalah stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with Paul Foster Case.
I'm not so familiar.
Yeah, he was a very modest man, but a lot of the tarot work today is due to his efforts. He was born in 1884, and around 1900 he really got into this, you know. Just he wrote volumes. He had an organization called the Builders of the Untitled that I studied for a long time. And Jason was the director of that. So,
Does that still exist?
oh yeah, yeah. They're cranking them out, those lessons. And get one a week, and it's pile up like this. But it taught me a lot. I did it for 10 years, steady every day. I never missed a day, which is, I've never done anything like that before since. And when in my 4th year into it, I wrote down to headquarters and said, is there anybody that's doing this? You know, I was starting to feel lonesome. And they sent me to Jason. So then I really, you know, got on the roll. Okay, so we have equal partners. And Eve is, again, she's the fruitful one. She's the mother who provides the food, the nature. He's got a tree full of fire. He's the spark of life. He's that, not like, the high priestess is virginal until he comes along. So he's the bright idea, the sparkle in Daddy's eye, and then she takes it and develops it and manifests it and on and on and on. And so we have to be so careful about what we think and what we say we want, because somebody's really listening, and it really can come to pass. So the angel being the blessing, that's Rafael, is the angel of healing, and he rules the eastern quarter.
Purple mountain.
The purple mountain's majesty, yes. These colors are all specified by the teachers. So purple is aspiration. That's one of the things. It's kind of the highest color. If you start with red at the bottom, which is the lowest vibration, and the rainbow, purple is the highest. Purple for the highest. Good? It's a little song, right? That's part of it.
Almost looks like a sheet of linen.
Yes, it's a very unusual mountain. It's really sexy looking. Yeah, not your ordinary, like in the pool, there's regular mountains. Yeah, I've always. So the real Garden of Eden is inside of us. All of these keys are inside of us. And they're called keys because they're keys to understanding that, to getting in there and recognizing. Did you have something? Here we have the creative power of the heart. Red is fire, and fire is life, and this is creativity, energy.
I used to come down a little bit.
Well, not me. I like color. Yeah, they were. Jason's cards were getting kind of old looking, and they were also. He had them on a big pad that had spiral at the top, and he was flipping them over, and they were getting kind of worn out. And I asked him, "Can I take those home and fix them up for you?" And he goes, "I'll tell you next week." And he came back next week and he said, "Sure, take them home. It's good. I got to check in, these precious cards." So I put them on the board and got out my good acrylics.
Can you comment on the yellow background being about the magician?
Yes. Always you think of the magician with the yellow. It's color of intellect and air in this system. Water, of course, is blue. Fire is red. And then earth can shift. Green, black, brown. They're said to be married. You can't really see it, but in the textbook it'll tell you that there's a figure 8 that's joining this creative force of nature. This is what blows up volcanoes or makes a field of poppies, whatever. And she is our subconscious. She is our high priestess. She is the love that's holding us. And so the story goes, the textbook is called The Tarot, A Key to the Wisdom of the Ages by Paul Foster Case. And they're married and they're in love, and he will just, he can create anything she wants. And she's dressed in white, meaning that she's purified. So this is when our subconscious is not full of our childhood programming and all that stuff. according to the teachers, these kinds of studies will clear out your subconscious and put in really good new, light. And then you feel like this, and then you go forth and teach the tarot to the world, or do whatever you feel like being creative with. Let's see what else about that. Yes?
There's that little mountain again back.
Yeah, the mountain of aspiration.
Yeah, but
They don't want you to forget to aspire to this.
I love the expression on the lion's face. It's like, it reminds me when I'm at the dentist, he says, open wide.
I was thinking it looked like Holly.
And this deck is, the Rider-Waite deck was Pamela Coleman Smith's very inspired art. I was told that when she sat down to paint her paintings for the Smith-Waite deck, that she saw, envisioned, she saw it and she traced what she saw on the canvas, and if she tried to change it, it would just go away. So very, very channeled. But her lion has his tail tucked between his legs. So I'm very glad that when Jessie Burns Park made these cards for Paul Foster Case, they made tails go up. That was no doubt Paul's idea. However, he never copyrighted them because it was so much like the other deck. So have at it. It's all free. I really like that aspect. Of course, they don't like the BOTA. They want you to pay dues. Fate had something else in mind. So this is Leo. You can't miss this one astrologically. This is Lady Leo. Okay, next we have, now this is Venus. Not everyone's favorite card, unfortunately. I used to notice with Jason and in my own teaching that on the Nine of Justice, attendance would fall. Somehow people were put off by Venus looking so powerful. I think it's maybe our guilty conscience or something. But really and truly, it's a wonderful, wonderful card about karma. And karma is, it's such a blessing. Because what happens if we go too far one way, or however far we go, we have to balance. Life will insist that we balance. So we never just go and never come back. It always brings us back. And so after a while, you learn to maybe not go so far. Life is a dance. We're never going. Balance isn't this. Balance is a dance. But this is the sum total of all her actions. She's a very, very busy mama. And Jason used to say she's taking out the garbage, cleaning up the house. Yes.
I don't remember. Let's ask about the tea with the yolk of that. Is that the Tao and the and the world symbol?
Yes, symbol of Saturn, which is the world card. TAU. It's the name of the letter that represents Saturn. Which brings me to a favorite topic of mine, that Saturn is the divine mother on the Tree of Life. And it has been very maligned and put down until they turned her into a nasty man. People hate Saturn, they're scared of Saturn. Well, forget all that. Saturn's a divine mother, and she's the opposite of Jupiter, just like Sun and Moon are opposite, and then Mercury is actually androgynous in ancient times. Then Venus and Mars are opposites, and then Jupiter and Saturn are opposites. That's going out, in order from the sun. So Jupiter's this big expansive force that Americans just think is the greatest thing. We kind of forget we're supposed to have a center, So Saturn holds that center around which everything revolves. And that's kind of what's going on here, because Saturn's exalted in Libra, which is why she has symbol of Saturn right on her breast. And if you do the tarot layout, it's on my book, The Spoken Kabbalah, in the other room. The tableau has full at the top and then 3 rows of 7 cards each. And in the middle of all that is this card. She holds the balance of the whole tableau with 22 major arcana cards. So like I say, she's busy, she's got a lot of work to do, but hey, Isis can handle anything. So it's Mother Isis who's keeping the peace, yes.
So to compare to the High Priestess, here the curtain is parted, unlike in the High Priestess where we can't see behind the curtain. And you say yellow is the color of intellect.
Right.
So we see the rationality begin to peek through behind justice.
Yes.
Is that the idea?
Yes, exactly. That is the exact idea. And yeah, the purple, well, you know, purple's not only aspiration, but it's like royalty. And by the way, I have to share my favorite purple story right here, right now, because this is where I learned it from the fellow who did the Wildwood Tarot. Kings and Queens, I was saying that I loved purple. It's my favorite color. I loved it as a child. I couldn't tell anybody I liked it because it was so weird. It was a weird color. They would put it on the altar on Good Friday in church, and would bring it out at funerals. And otherwise, you know, it was my secret love. And then he told me that royalty could only wear purple, and it was forbidden to anybody to wear purple. And that's why there was this, you know, so that people just forgot about purple. And witches started wearing purple just to say, to the, excuse my English, but to the royalty, you know. So,
You know why?
why?
Because purple was a really hard dye.
Yeah, hard to make. Right?
It was
Yeah,
really,
expensive.
really, really hard and really expensive to create purple fabric.
So where did the witches get it?
Probably from their masters. I don't know that for sure, but
Maybe from blueberries.
The witches were herbalists. They knew how to make the dye.
they knew, and they knew how to. They probably knew the chemical formula for making the dye, which was a protected secret.
Right, except, you know, you can't hide anything from her.
The ancient purple came from the Murex seashell.
Yeah.
The urchins.
Beautiful.
Purple is everywhere, especially in the rainbow. So on her breast, this Saturn symbol is indigo. Saturn is indigo is a blue and purple mixture. So anyway, we're fortunate to have her, and when you get her, you know, just remember about karma helping you keep your center, and it'll hold you together. Without this, we wouldn't have a center. You know, cosmic law is not like, doesn't throw people in jail and stuff. It's loving. It's a law of love. Venus rules karma and justice. Now we have Isis and a nice horn here. Mother Moon. This is Pisces energy, multi-dimensional, very mystical. This is about the importance of your body as your friend and guide. It's called the corporeal intelligence in the ancient Kabbalistic Tarot that Paul Case discovered and kind of brought forward. And there's, if you think about, say, how Native Americans think about animals and how they revere them and their special powers, and they're like gods, you know? Well, this wolf and dog, and even, you know, this crayfish, supposedly this is a symbol of the hard-shelled ego just crawling out of the unconscious here, and we have a domesticated and wild side that are, you know, we're trying to balance and all that. That's also true, but if you just think about the wisdom of an animal and realize that your body has that same wisdom. It resides in your medulla, and it can help you out a lot. Your instincts and your intuitions, just pure animal wisdom. And we've neglected, and we eat, and we don't exercise, all this stuff, you know. But if we listen to our animal, it'll help us with all kinds of things. Like I am blessed. It's only happened a few times. I'm in extreme danger in some kind of like normal setting, but there's something wrong. The first time I felt it, I was in in an art school in a Pratt Institute in Brooklyn. And I wasn't doing too well. I don't know. And there was one teacher that was really kind of scary and mean. And he wanted everybody just to copy his art. Well, one day I go to step foot over the threshold to go into his class, and I'm hit with a headache that almost knocks me over. And I go, I quit. I left. I became my own artist. I didn't bother with school. So things like that. So it's a warning system that my body just, and I'm sure we all have things like this. We all have bodies, so we all have these tremendous instincts. So this is about not just say, this is not into the magician at all. No left brain. Just feelings. Maybe no right brain either, just like back brain. All brain, the medulla. It keeps your body, even when you're in coma, it keeps you alive. It's you're plugged to life itself. So the moon, when if you're going to take a walk down this path in daylight, you've got the sun, you can see everything, But then if you're going to go in moonlight, it's not easy to walk in moonlight, even at really bright full moon. You have to use your supersensory powers, You have to feel your way. Your instincts come through. You feel your animal nature. Just try it, you'll like it. So, this card, when it comes up in a reading, say, it's like contacting that part of you. It's turning on your medulla. And it's saying, what do you feel? What are your instincts about your question? Feel your way into this. And the moon is a sure guide. And of course the path leads up to the purple mountain of aspiration and to the hermits up there on the top, shining his light for all. That is the selfhood where this whole system is trying to take us. So our self includes this magical, mystical, ancient, nameless thing. This is maybe the best of all. I don't know. What do you think? This is Jason's favorite card. Isis Urania is who this is. She's the goddess of the New Age. Urania was, in Greek, she was the goddess of the heavens and the stars, everything that's going on up there at night, especially. But, the stars are still there in daytime. We just not see them.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Are those stars supposed to be the Pleiades?
Well, maybe. I think we can read into it whatever we like. There are also the 7 chakras, whatever comes in sevens. Yeah, let's see if I can remember now. No, I can't. All I remember is that this one was Mercury, and the other two are the yang side and the inside. It's kind of like the tree of life, whatever.
What's the compass rose mean?
The which?
The sort of
compass rose.
The yellow figure at the top.
It looks like the big star.
The main star.
Oh, the 8-pointed, that's the light, the source. Just the big kahuna.
Your personal star, as it were.
Yeah. Or, the God self. The source of stars. I always kind of laugh when they say that our sun is like just a small star. It's because it's such a mighty power. Oh my goodness. So awesome. I'm quite a lover of stars. My daughter turned out to be an astronomer, and I'm an astrologer, so we have fun. Yes.
So I'm very struck by this version of the card because normally when you see many versions of this card, if there is a bird, it is black.
Oh, really?
And here it is red. Can you discuss the significance? Clearly the colors are very important here.
This looks like a flamingo.
It's a, wait a minute, it's an ibis.
Communication.
And there really are red ibis. I know some people have seen red ibis in Egypt. And it's a bird associated with Thoth and Mercury and magician. And it's said in the textbook that it's seeing science, basically. It's seeing her from behind, and it's seeing all this wavy hair, you know. It's like it's looking at something and trying to pin it down. But she unveils herself to her devotee. And no one, Isis has said, it's in a famous, the first extant novel that we have in Latin, it's the first extant novel in the Western world, is Apuleius, what's it called, the Golden Ass?
The golden ass.
Yeah, where he gets transformed into a donkey, but then in the end, Isis comes over the sea and saves him. And
It's really funny.
yeah. What, did you read the whole thing?
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
It's risque.
Maybe that's why it lasted so long. It was fun. Well, she describes herself, you know, and also she lists all these names that the different countries call her. But she says, my devotees call me by my true name, Isis.
That's it.
So Isis will unveil herself. In other words, she'll show you the secret mysteries. She'll love you till your heart explodes, practically. You know, she'll make you so happy in so many ways if you follow the path, you know, that we saw in the moon card. And
Can I say something about the Isis? About the Ibis? It is in Egypt. The sound that it makes is the sound of ah. It's like ah. It's the sound of the baby. The first sound a baby makes.
I see.
The first sound ah. So that's Thoth. It's because he was connected to language and writing. So they
very much. He gave us language,
still in
right?
there too.
Yes. Oh, there's that purple mountain.
So we actually climb the mountain back down Trump 9. And then we come down and we see it.
Well, that's very important because all along we think we're on a journey, but it's only in our imagination. Because our true self is that hermit on that mountain all the time. We never really leave it. We just like kind of trip out. We have dreams, we have visions. So that's the self with a capital S, the true self. And all of these images are aspects of the true self. So, you know, the Tarot and Kabbalah are not really neat little packages because it's trying to explain something that's way beyond, you know, explanation. It's offered for those who would like to, you know, get further up the path to ascend more. This is the Aquarius card, and this is the ruler of this age that we're moving into. And my best information is that it starts next year, right at the beginning, 2013, which are the true magic numbers of the mind, 20 and 13. I studied it and taught it. Will be in the fourth dimension. So between now and then, hang in there because the winding up of the third dimension is pretty horrendous, as you've noticed, you know. But everybody with loving hearts who wants to stay will still be here on the other side, and then we're going to really have some fun with her, you know. And she can reveal all sorts of really cool stuff to us.
And so, of there are many allegories as of the two jars or amphora. And so, in your understanding, what is the allegory of one in the water and one in the land?
Well, just simply into the psyche and onto the body, pouring healing energies, life force. Everything that water stands for, which is plenty.
She's blonde.
Yeah, the hair is always yellow in these beings, and I think that's supposed to mean they're smart. With the intellect. Yeah.
What about in this deck, the court cards? Do they have the traditional colors?
They don't. The full Foster Case's deck just has swords and coins and stuff. No pictures, except for the court cards.
But do the court cards have the old gypsy, you'll meet a tall, dark, handsome man, I don't remember the associations, but did he follow that? Or?
To some extent. Paul was proud of the fact that his grandmother had been a gypsy. Mm-hmm. So she probably taught him a few things, I don't know. But I haven't explored that personally.
It's just a curiosity, because that's what is almost the first thing that people kind of think when you say tarot reading. Oh, you're going to meet a tall, dark, handsome man.
Oh man, look, I read cards all the time. I don't say that. Well, unless it's true. That's kind of rare.
Mary Greer said I might meet someone who's sort of half, and I did.
Oh. Well, that's kind of different from the tall, dark.
Yeah. But somebody nice who's.
Do you know what card inspired her to say that?
I don't remember exactly which card it was that said it was that she.
That's cool. Yeah, I have people all the time coming to tell me that what I said came true, and it's just something that comes through. I can't really take credit, but I'm glad that it's good information. There was a young man. A friend of his was so afraid that he was going to go to jail. This sweet young black guy, some kind of drug thing, and we did the cards for him, and he got the Fool as the last card. I said, "You're not going to jail. You're free." And it was up to the wire. He was so scared the whole time. He was so sure he was going to jail, and then they let him go at the very end. And he came up on a bus from San Jose to say thank you to me. That was his face thing. Yeah,
That's a very
never
sweet
forget it. So, another time I remember I was sitting in a little nook in this was the Open Secret bookstore in San Rafael. I was sitting in a bay window, and I look at a guy in a motorcycle, drives up, parks, comes on in, and comes over to me. I go, "Oh, okay." So I went, "Okay." So this was his first card, and he goes, "Oh, I had a dream about her." So that's how I meet something. So we got off to a great start with that. Anyway, Aquarius is about humanity and freedom and truth, and that she represents all of these. She represents humanity. She's totally free. I mean, look, and true. The right angle on her leg is supposed to be a symbol of what is right. And so forth. You might notice the card a little brighter than the others. This was another Jason adventure. I asked him if I could borrow some of his keys to bring here to give a talk. And, then I gave them to him when I got back, in the pillowcase. So 2 weeks before he's going to do this card, okay, gotcha. Because it says, I don't have the real card. He's thinking somebody must have stolen it. Here, bats! Not here, it is. Okay. But anyway, so I had to come up with it in a hurry, and I had, so it's kind of new, and it's not on such heavy cardboard either. It's kind of nice. But it worked out. He was happy when I unveiled it 2 weeks later. Okay, so this is Mama Saturn. She holds the center while Jupiter's expanding. She keeps the center, and that's why she can dance in the air. But she doesn't have. She is the support of everything. And it says under the veil is the male organ, so there we go with a good old hermaphroditic aspect. But the female is on top because the woman's consciousness is now ruling the being, and that's why there's a goddess of this new age. The feminine, feeling nature, right brain, medulla, all of that is going to become real ordinary and common, not something that you have to like, seek out to find. We're all going to be dancing in air. So this is the color of Jupiter, the purple, that big benevolent, high, glorious power. And I don't know, she's my favorite. She makes me tongue-tied. She's so powerful and glorious. Does anyone want to offer any comments or questions or anything about the card? Yes?
I was going to Google, I'm not sure, but the women looks like a Hebrew letter to me, like cough.
It is.
It is, okay. I was just trying to think what I was like.
The cough, it means the grasping hand on the road.
Okay.
This letter.
Yeah.
It's the grasping hand. Yes?
I know that they're earth, air, fire, and water, and the eagle actually represents water. I've never understood.
Oh, that is the risen Scorpio force. The eagle representing water. It's when, first it's a scorpion, and then it's a serpent going up, and then it becomes the eagle when it soars out top. And the red feather coming out of the top of the fool's head is the same symbolism. Anything else? Yes?
The ones for spirals? Why is that the spiral?
Oh boy, I don't know.
Okay.
Just involution. There's said to be involution and evolution. I'm not sure which is which.
Going out.
Yeah. Yes.
No, I can add. I mean, the spirals remind me of in Reiki. There's this pillars of transformation that I use. They're actually rods, and they're energy rods that spiral the energy down from source.
Do you think they might have had those in ancient times? Yeah, that might be what. I'm just flashing.
I mean, just giving,
No, I think that's really good. That's probably what it really does to me. Anyone else?
What is the blue background here? There's no yellow in this card. So
It's the High Priestess. It's the, Yeah, the yellow is the intellect. It's more specific, but the High Priestess is everything, remember?
I see.
So she is the intelligence that's dancing in the everything, the quantum field, as well as a personal goddess, if you embrace her that way. But we're living and breathing and eating and dressing with the blue energy all the time. We're mostly made of water, which is blue symbolism. This is a water planet. There's water and air we breathe. We just don't think about it that much. We can't live without it. Thank you for coming.